Hey, what's up everybody? In this video we're going to go over my Witch Doctor build I just got done with not too long ago. Well, actually I leveled it up fairly quickly. Initially I leveled up in the season mode my wizard, and I made a few videos prior to that, on different builds that I had with that, and I decided to go with the Witch Doctor again since I had some gear that that had stockpiled from my last um, level 70 that I got up. And this one actually only took me I think I started in the evening time one night and I finished it off the next day. So it doesn't take very long once you get essentially a high level red gem, a ruby, and that increases your weapon damage. So you could go through Torment actually pretty easy depending on how you make your build and everything. So you can level up fairly quickly once you get that gem. Otherwise you might be able to do it with certain characters, certain builds, whatnot, but otherwise this is kind of a rough build, but I did want to show what I had so far. I'm going to be putting up other different types of builds, and this is the first one that I came up with, just because I was able to get two pieces that made this kind of viable. Really right now it's only for Torment 1. I haven't tried it yet on the higher Torment levels just because my gear just hasn't been refined at all. This is kind of, like I said, cobbled together. Anyway, let's get to the skills. My primary is Poison Dart Splinters. That's for decent damage, output, no cost. Also, this is a very low cost mana cost build. Really, I only have one spender, and that would be Grasp of the Dead. Otherwise, Poison Dart primary. Secondary would be Sacrifice. Really, this is a underused skill just because you essentially need a unique mojo to get your dogs back. So since I have that, I'm using this, and also I'm using Next to Kin, so that gives each zombie dog you sacrifice a better than 1/3 chance to resurrect a new zombie dog. So that gives you even more zombie dogs, so you could fire them off quite a bit. Also, some of my skills tie into this, they'll synergize. My secondary, Grasp of the Dead, Death is Life. This is great for a little bit of damage, slowing, but also anything that dies within it while it's active has a 10% chance to drop a health globe or summon a zombie dog. So that's good for both living and also giving you more zombie dogs to use as damage. Since this does do 1,090% weapon damage, they're pretty decent. I mean, nothing crazy, but if you got a whole bunch of dogs and they keep giving them to you, you could just keep shooting them off. Voodoo Gargantuan, Big Stinker. Essentially this guy's just a meat shield that slowly damages everything around him. You could go with Cleave, anything like that. Corpse Spider, Spider Queen. This ain't bad. Essentially it's free to use. You chuck it right in the middle of a big group and let it go to work. It lasts for 15 seconds. It does a pretty decent amount of damage compared to other spells. 2,625 over 15 seconds is a high level of damage. I'm pretty sure it hits other people too. And this one actually gets a lot better with certain legendaries, but for right now this is just pretty much just for throwing into groups. Finally, defensive summon zombie dogs. Someone with burning dogs. It seems to be one of the better ones, I think, personally, because each dog will burn any nearby enemies for 20%, and since I'll have 5 up, that's 100% damage total if, say, it's a single target, or spread out. And then my passive skills. Midnight Feast, give me an additional zombie dog and also increases the damage of my dogs and my Gargantuan by 50%. So, extra dogs are always good for this build, along with the extra increase in damage. Zombie Handler, another zombie dog, and also reduces or increases the life of me and my pets. Well, zombie dogs and Gargantuans again, not the fetishes. Circle of Life. Whenever an enemy dies within 20 yards, there's a 15% chance. So this ties in with more zombie dogs. The more zombie dogs you have, the more you can shoot them off, and it's just defense. They're great all around. So this one helps with that. Got to be kind of close. 20 yards isn't very far. I think I got a 6-yard increase also. So essentially, we kind of want to be in the thick of it. And then finally, Fetish Sycophants. It's great. It's really, I don't know why you wouldn't run with this, because these guys, once they start, once you got about 5, 6 of them, they really start doing damage. You go all the way up to 15 with these guys on huge mobs. But this also ties in with one of my legendaries. So anyway, that's my overall build. This could also be changed any way you want to. I'm not saying this is a perfect build. I'm just saying this is a fun build. And of course, with pieces and gear, everything would change, and how you play, and you know what you think works. Let's go on to my gear. Now, the main piece for this spec is homunculus, I believe it's called. Anyways, what it does is a zombie dog is automatically summoned to your side every 5 seconds. Now that's big, because you know you will, if you made this build without this, you will still get your zombie dogs, but not as many. This is a pretty dramatic increase in the number of zombie dogs you have to use to sacrifice. So I highly recommend it. You'll see how many zombie dogs I could actually use. It's pretty hard to run out with this, along with everything else tied in. There's a few other skills that actually will summon zombie dogs too, but these are the ones that I went with. And then also I just found this carnival. Your fetishes shoot a poison dart every time you do. So that's why I went with poison dart. Otherwise I'd go with rain of toads to get more, but I just found this, so I was like, alright, well, I'll try it out with darts. Not the biggest fan of darts, but since with this, if you got, every time you shoot a dart, your fetishes will fire a dart too. So if you got 10 fetishes, that means they're going to fire 10 darts, and they all do about the same damage. You know, they do close to about what you do. So on single targets, very powerful. If you need a single out of target. So you'll see how this works. And then finally I got a legendary axe. This is just what I had floating around for now. I do want the dagger that summons smaller fetishes, but for right now I have this. It has a chance to summon a ghostly fallen champion, and it's like a giant imp that hits guys pretty hard. It'll knock them back and everything. So this is just kind of ties into the overall having a whole bunch of stuff. I'll go over my enchantress too. She actually helps out with the whole mob thing. Otherwise, all my gear, I mean, you know, it's just kind of slapped together. I do got the set rings, the Traveler's Pledge set, just for, you know, increased damage, and also they got pretty damn good stats, you know, for starting. This is, I just threw it on there. It was alright. The cold damage doesn't help me. Thorns, I don't know if it helps any of my guys. It should. So, I mean, you know, if they're getting hit, they're hitting back with that damage. Just gold skin for extra gold. Oh, also Razor Strop. Picking up a health globe releases an explosion that deals 337 weapon damage as fire to enemies within 20 yards. This is actually pretty good, you know, it's just that extra damage. Also with Grasp of the Dead, since it has a chance to drop a health globe, if you kill a bunch of guys inside of that, you'll drop some health globes. You could run over to these if it is in the middle of a bunch of guys, and then that'll do more damage as fire. And then I also got this weird one where it had good stats, so I went with it. 22% chance to explode in fan of knives for 200% weapon damage when hit. So, you know, if you're getting hit, you'll do damage back. Really, what happened was I haven't really been ironing out how I want all of my stats to go, so I kind of went with whatever, you know, and just changed anything that really doesn't help. So my stats overall are attack speed increased 21%, so that's pretty good. I actually, since I am level 200 Paragon for my previous character, that kind of transferred over, so I did go with a little bit of attack speed, but I think it's mostly critical hit damage. So my crit hit chance is actually pretty high, almost 55%. So that really helps with lots of damage. My crit hit damage is not very high. I wouldn't mind getting that another 100 or so, or maybe even 200. And I believe 50% of that's coming from Paragon. So as you can see, I could get that up quite a bit, you know, reworking my gear, finding new things. My area damage, that also, 50% of that comes from the Paragon. But I do like the area damage. It does actually really help. I like that extra damage, so when you hit a mob, everything gets hit real hard. If it does proc, a 20% chance. So, and then nothing there, that doesn't matter. My defense, toughness 6.7 million. That's pretty high, and also healing. It's my healing. A lot of it comes from life per second. As you see, I got 25,000, and I decided with my Paragon to go with life per second, you know, increase, and then also a 54% bonus. I don't even know where that came from. I'd have to go through my gear again. That's a lot. I got, you know, I'm a pretty tough dude. I haven't died yet. It's pretty hard for me to die. And then life per hit is still pretty good, 20,000. 7. I have 7 to bonus to globe. And then let's see here. Movement speed, blah, 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 blah. All normal. So anyway, that's the total build. Like I said, this was all just kind of cobbled together from a previous character, except for these two pieces. And pretty easy. I mean, this is the main one that you really want for this build to make it really worth your while. So let's go see what I can do with it. Back to the old Weeping Hollow. Now this is on Torment 1. I have not tried it yet on Torment 4 or anything like that. But essentially, all I'm doing is just shooting zombie dogs off. And then the zombie dogs actually have a pretty good chance of making fetishes, which is always a good thing. The more fetishes you have, the more darts you can shoot off with it. But as you can see, it's you could fire off dogs pretty readily. I mean, I'll shoot some off here, and then you gain them back pretty fast. So if you watch my counter for zombie dogs, if I put that down too, it usually helps. And then sometimes you'll have one dog, you'll shoot into a group, kill a few guys, and you'll be right back up to 5. And then once you're running around, you'll just gain back zombie dogs. So I mean, if you completely focused on it, the damage numbers would be ridiculous. I think I'm up to about 7 million or 8 million, it looked like, damage. For groups like this, what I do is I throw in a spider, throw down Grasp of the Dead, and then just start shooting zombie dogs in there. Oh, and also, here, since I have 8 fetishes, I'll show you what happens when you fire off this. See, they all fire their their little darts, and each one of them does a lot of damage. So I'll just use that, and it's actually really effective. But since it's a single target, usually it'll kind of spray out, miss, you know, if they move. So it's kind of a slower firing. But as you can see, it's actually really effective, and it also seems to gather even more little fetishes running around. But like I said, it's a pretty wild build. I just slapped it together, and I was actually kind of surprised at how well it did. I could probably try to do other you know, minor modifications to see where I go with it, and also other pieces, Tasker and Theo for my pets. You know, anything like that would definitely help out this build. But really, the zombie dogs on these weaker enemies, you just blow them up. And then also with such a high chance to get them back, and also just regenerating them. As you see, when you target an enemy, your dog goes flying in. And you could almost indefinitely use that, depending on how many enemies you got. Now, you will lose dogs, but of course, since the 45-second cooldown to get all 5 back, if you use them all up, just hit the button, you got 5 more. So, you know, you could spam it, get about 10,000 damage off on a boss at least before you're out. And then, you know, every 5 seconds you'll get a new one. But usually what I do is I just run right in the middle because my, it seems like witch doctors are actually pretty tough. Run right in the middle, let your guys tank everything, and then just essentially fire off your dogs at the big groups. And then that will thin them out so quickly that they don't even have a chance. And that's about it, really. This is just this is the build. You know, things get a little tough, toss the spider in, toss that up, start blowing things up. What's nice is too, you could also, since it is targeted, you could hit the middle of the pack, and then you're, oh, look at that, that's a perfect wall. You can hit the middle of the pack, and then it'll blow up everything around them. It won't stop, you know, and hit somebody in front of them. It'll actually, you know, and it'll go through walls, or, you know, where those guys put up walls, it'll go through those. But very fun build, and I highly recommend. You know, just trying a variation of it. I'm not saying build it this way. This is just the way I've been playing it. This is what I have fun with. But yeah, see, it's just that was 2 dogs, and everything kind of got messed up. So I will try this, you know, if I do get better gear for this build. But I am trying to, or kind of looking forward to making maybe even a Frost Witch Doctor, to see how that goes. I got a couple pieces for that, you know, just something to make it a little worthwhile. See if it's a viable build. Probably not too many pets, maybe just a gargantuan, and then kind of go everything Frost along with freezing. But yeah, give it a try, and if you get homunculus or whatever the hell it's called, uh, make a zombie dog shooter, and it's not bad at all. Hey, I passed something. Didn't even try. Don't even know what the hell I was supposed to do. Oh, okay. And then also, let me go over my enchantress. She also has the Maximus, which summons a demonic slave, and also Vatum Surge. So all of her cooldowns are reduced by 50%. So then I decided to go with Charm, which makes enemies fight for you. Disorientate, which, of course disorientates. And then Mass Control. Ooh, am I going to die? No. Too tough. So essentially she's just a crowd controller. And then so with all my pets and her, and then this guy that comes from my axe who hits pretty hard, all my fetishes, all the the darts, it's a pretty wild build. But otherwise, that's about it. Make sure to like and or subscribe if you want to keep up with any of this. I got several videos, at least on different types of builds. I'm just really starting to get more into the 2.1 builds, as I make the characters and get them back up. I do have older characters, but I'd rather just start anew and see, where everything has gone from the previous to now with all the elemental changes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to check out my next Witch Doctor build. So check out my channel every now and then, see if I uploaded anything. It's all right there, and have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.